Apologies for the absence. There's gonna be more of them. I'm up in over here from time to time, but I'm not gonna keep doing consistent live streams and putting out videos over here. It's a waste of time. I'll still do it because you guys are here, and it's important, to stay at least in somewhat communication with you. So I'll cover some stuff that I feel like going over, and in the meantime, we'll try to figure out where it is or what it is that's coming next. I guess we'll start it off with good old Council on Foreign Relations. As I've stated countless times, it's very important to pay attention to these types of globalist institutions, especially the Council on Foreign Relations. It's like one of the top dogs, right? Like the Bilderberg groups. And what's up, Cindy, Jay Creed? Glad you guys can join. I appreciate you being here, of course. Hope you're all doing well. Far right, far right, far right extremists, far right terrorism, far right, far right, far right. Which, fine, right? I'm not on the far right. I'm not on the far left. I'm not on any. We are, unfortunately, we are, right? Because we're not the ones who dictate. The ones that are in control of power are the ones that dictate who is of what ideology. And they've made it perfectly clear for a very long time. I remember way back during the Q ain't on this, Q ain't on that. They were umbrellaing, to coin a phrase, us all under far right extremists because we didn't want the government to mandate us to get a experimental concoction of nanotechnologies among mRNA technology inside of us. That makes you far right. If you have, any criticisms over the mainstream media, you're far right. If you have any criticisms of your government, far right. That's the game that's played. It's easier, and really what it is, and I've covered this countless times. What it is that they're doing is trying to demonize, slander, diminish people that think for themselves, that believe in freedom, that may be patriotic. Right, but that whole framing, that whole idea of being a sovereign person, having rights, having freedoms outside of the state, that's what has to go. And that's what we have to hang on to. Absolutely. Why the far right terrorist threat is often misunderstood and underestimated. Well, they have to put shit out like this because the Department of Homeland Security has been telling us day in and day out for years just how dangerous this threat is with no evidence. With no real, like, they try to make some connections, but it's just a stretch at best. Right, like, oh, well, this person, what this, and then they have to stage, the ones that they do try to get away. Whoa, he was carrying this in his backpack, and he left this manifesto of 435 pages. All it said was, I'm a far right extremist, I'm a far right extremist, I'm a far right extremist. They have to stage them because they're not really happening. And then we have the Council of Foreign Relations telling us, well, it's underestimated, right, and misunderstood. So let's learn something from the CFR. Violent far-right extremism threatens minority communities, but its targets go far beyond just them. Everybody's in the crosshairs of the far-right extremists. They're the most, you've heard Biden, right, when he's shaking his fist with the red and black backdrop. You'd be mistaken if you think for 1 second that there isn't a ton of people just waiting for the command to say, fucking kill your fellow man, lock them up, do what I say, go get them, go to their house, grab them, handcuff them, bring them in. They'll be foaming at the mouth to do it. There's a lot of those people out there. There is no reasoning with those people. They don't care if you're eating dinner with your family and you got two beautiful brand new twins sitting there and whatever the case may be. They don't give a shit. and they never will. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say that will ever resonate with these people. They don't experience that. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy. They have no real emotion. They're so disconnected, and they've been raised that way. They've been indoctrinated to be that way. And who is it that they will be going after? Well, clearly the far right extremists. That's why it's very important to pay attention to who it is that they're labeling these far right extremists. Possessed is a good way to put it, I guess. I mean, I don't believe that they're of a divine spirit by any means. Non-player characters, maybe. One and the same, probably. On August 26, 2023, a lone gunman entered a Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida, and opened fire. A lot of shit's going on in Florida, huh? A lot of psyops, a lot of hoaxes. For a long time. But this was in 2023. Anyways, and sporting Nazi iconic, of course, right? Of course he's wearing Nazi patches and all the get up on his fire. What is it, by the way, with people writing things? This is a new tactic that the FBI and DHS have been using in these psyops. They've been like writing like Free Palestine on their AR-15s and having like Nazi icon. No, that never used to happen. Nobody ever used to do that. But now just like leaving a manifesto and doing all the other things that they have to do to let you know that this is the ideology that these people have. Now, just we're playing fucking Call of Duty and we're drawing the shit on our guns and we're leaving little. No. You mean to tell me that 18-year-old trans? Come on, man. But no, don't question it, because then you're a far right extremist. Just take that pill, swallow it whole. Don't ask any questions. Don't use critical thinking or discernment. Just follow, obey, and shake your head up and down. And you may be all right. Maybe the first go around. Gunman was a white supremacist hunting for African Americans to kill. He was tragically successful. 3 people were murdered. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It happens. I'm sure it does, right? I'm sure there's probably some fucking whacked out racists out there. And doesn't matter this, the color, whatever. There's people that like, oh, this, but there's not many, not enough to where this is the dominant threat that the DHS is put at the number one, right? This is what all talk about black budgets and stuff like that. Like countless dollars are going for this threat that doesn't even exist, and they're building up for it. So we know that it's going to happen, and we know that it's going to be them that do it. How else are we supposed to look at this, right? They've been warning us since day one. Do they have information? Are they like secretly monitoring some of these far right extremists, and they're able to like piece it together and realize that these guys are planning attacks and do it? Well, if that's the case, then why are they not stopping them? How many times do we hear, well, they were on the FBI's radar? Every single time, but nothing ever happens, right? Well, of course not. What is it like out of all of the terrorism, especially domestic terrorism, out of all of it that's been prevented by the FBI, like 95% of it was concocted by the FBI. Meaning they find Joe Schmo down on his luck, just lost his job, probably got recently divorced and whatever, like the worst. Ends up doing some dumb shit, stole a Snickers bar, goes in. He really doesn't want to do any time. They're like, hey, you know what? We can make that go away. All you got to do. Well, more than a Snickers bar. But that's kind of how the whole thing works. They find people that could use a couple $100,000. And they're like, just do this one little thing for us. We just need your name, or you could disappear. We'll change everything, and you'll be in the government protection, and you won't have to worry about anything after that. Or they use their wonderful nanotechnologies that they have already inside people's brains. We've heard with the Uber driver and the Navy shooter and people that said that they can't get this voice out of their head, right? Which is pretty interesting because these people had no signs of mental illness or anything like that. But when you look at the types of things like DARPA and mentioning the black budget, the government and the military are working on, at least what we're able to find out that they're working on, could you only imagine what it is that they're not telling us? Because what they are telling us is pretty damn frightening. The attack was the latest in a dark succession of far-right, mostly white supremacist attacks targeting minority communities. Where? I mean, yeah, let's take them at their word. Let's say it is true. Let's look at the stats. Could you provide some stats? Could you provide some hard data? Because I guarantee you, looking at it from the DHS, what they're going to spend billions of dollars on, are far-right extremists killing more minorities than minority groups are killing other people in our cities? I mean, it would be a big deal. Think about you and where you live right now. Hopefully you live next to a city or in a city. Now, you don't hear about, you can go look and see that there's probably like 3 or 4 homicides over the weekend and maybe 1 or 2 since. You don't hear about them. It's commonplace. But if you had one white person shoot, especially a person of color, a minority of any, if you had one of them occur, that would make the headlines for that whole entire week. The data isn't there. The numbers aren't there. So what is it that they're doing? Well, they're out to attack an ideology. They're out, and that just goes to prove the point that I was making earlier about going after people that believe in freedom and sovereignty, and because those types, no, they have raw data. They have Google. They have social media. They constantly monitoring, have the most powerful AIs collecting all of that data and making sense of it, so they know, well, this person, if they have this, that, think that, and the other, well, they believe in freedom, or they have more tendency to lean this way, and so they're going to demonize that in any which way that they possibly can, and try to get the entire world, everybody that they can, to hate and go after those people, and it's working for a group of people, for the indoctrinated, for those blue-haired, we call them libtards, right? Leftists. They're not. We need to stop thinking of this in the left, right. That's what they want us to think. They want us to put us, oh, well, we're on the right and they're on the left. No, they're just fucking crazy-ass people that have been indoctrinated, and we are just normal people that believe in whatever it is that we believe. Do not start adopting things because people, so you have A, B, and C in common with Joe. Does that mean that Joe likes D? Do you now need to adopt D in your beliefs? No, be yourself. Think for yourself. That's what they're counting on, right? You joining a team, being like, oh, I'm a part of this and they're going to make it, and it's hard not to. They're so incredibly good at it, right? They show all these things that clearly people would be upset about. Anybody in the right mind, people that aren't indoctrinated, like completely brainwashed at this point. People that are still very aware and understanding and are well aware that some of these things should not happen. A 6-year-old child making decisions about cutting their penis off, probably not something that is a good idea. Are you gonna? Well, let's make it so. Fuck laws. 6-year-olds. You want a tattoo? You want to drink? You want to shoot guns? Fine. No. That's not okay. But yeah, you can permanently all. No, that's insane, right? And we all know that that's insane. Except a very fringe group of people that are the ones that we really should be worried about. The ones that are what they call far leftists or the libtards, right? But we don't play that game. Don't get caught up in left right stuff, because that's only doing exactly what it is that they want. Just recognize it for what it is. Is it moral? Is it okay? Right? It doesn't. Oh, is it on the right? Is it on the left? Screw that nonsense. Like, what do you feel about it, right? Not to does what everybody else that already has the same ideas as you, what do they think about it? What do you think about it? Remove all of that. I think I've said what I needed to say. I'm sure it probably gets better, but we don't got all day. Well, while we're on the far right topic, I thought it was interesting because even this week in Asia, right, China Times has a story about far right. And of course they would, because again, it's a new world agenda. It's new world order. Far right meaning freedom, meaning people that believe in freedom, people that are probably more nationalistic, people that have values, people that take their religion seriously. These are the people that are going to be the new Jew. Like, if you see everything that they did, what Germany did, the propaganda game that was unraveled, that same thing is happening again, but it's being done in the opposite direction. And it's going after the very people that would hold the fabric of society together. The reason that it hasn't already come crashing down and fallen apart is because of things like a strong family unit, because people have integrity and values and an honor system. And that's not going to be easy to dismantle, but they've already got a lot of people that are willing to do whatever it is. Look at the police departments now. They've weeded out, and I'm sure the military is the same. And what a brilliant, oh, you won't get your vaccine? Gotta go. Police departments are a mess. It's all tyrants at this point. Oh, no, Dustin, it's just a bet. No, it's not. They're basically almost every single one. And yeah, there may be an exception, maybe. But don't let the chief know about it, because he'll be out. They're doing it on purpose. They've implemented years ago. I remember covering the story years ago when they started implementing IQ tests for police officers. Sounds like a good idea until you realize that if you score too high on the IQ test, you can't be a police officer. Think I'm lying? Look it up. I'm sure they probably buried a lot of it. You could probably find at least one or two articles, though. Using Google, what a joke. What a joke, right? I'm glad that they released the AI when they did, because it showed right off the bat, right? But then again, they're turning that into a left-right issue. Anything of sustenance, of importance, of things that would really be damaging to this power structure, this New World Order, instantly gets turned into a left-right issue. And that's the beauty for them of having this system in the way that they do. It's because they just get to play us off of each other every time. They get to turn it, oh, well, this is what the Republicans believe. This is what the conservatives believe. This is what the liberals believe. This is what the Democrats believe. And then they have their talking heads at the propaganda networks, to make sure that it's drilled into your skull day in and day out. No need to go through it though. That's kind of the point. Is it's happening everywhere, even in China, even in they want to weed out anybody that even remotely has a tiny fragment of that ideology. I thought this was interesting. New York Democrats propose bill to criminalize blocking roads as domestic terrorism. What's funny is just by reading this, you should know that this is a trap. And this is what I talk about a lot of times about, again, the left-right thing, right? Like if right now we're under Biden, crime's running rampant, the cities, people are getting out without bail. It's a mess. So what's going to happen when a far right, or like Trump gets in? Oh, we need to come cracking down on crime, and they're going to pass all sorts of things. The whole time, people that should know better are going to be cheering it on. Yeah, let's pass that bill, thinking it's going to go after them and not you. But it always flips, doesn't it? And that same bill that was used to go after them will be used to go after you. Stop signing away your rights in hatred, right? Like, stop being used, I should say, for these types of shenanigans. It's ridiculous. How it still, I don't know, man. It amazes me that people just over and over and over fall for this. But New York Democrats, who are the ones that are blocking the roads? Oh, the Free Palestine people, which are on the left, and the climate change people, which are on the left. So why is the left proposing a bill to criminalize blocking roads? Good question. Well, it's because they don't give a shit about their little peon people. It's about the legislation. It's always about the law. It's about putting a structure, something concrete in place that they can use to go after you. So domestic terrorism should have a pretty high, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty high something to meet. Pretty high. Yeah. Should have a pretty high standard to meet. But it doesn't if they're going to be able to pass bills, right? Because the beauty about this is the right will jump on. They'll be like, oh, well, this is bipartisan. We can agree to this. We don't think that there should be. Let's make it so that blocking roads is domestic terrorism. Now think about the 15-minute cities. Think about the future and how this could be used against you, right? Things that sound great. Oh, shit, let's go after them stupid leftists that are blocking the roads. That's why they keep showing you these videos of people having to get dragged out the middle of the road from people that are just trying to make their way through the city or through wherever, right? Because it is screwed up. You don't need domestic terrorism charges. Why domestic terrorism? And why not just criminal mischief? Right? I mean, there's a whole onslaught of charges you could throw at people. The thing about that word terrorism goes back to the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012. And when you slap that word, they don't have to be convicted of it. But if you decide that you're going to arrest somebody or hold them on a potential conviction of terrorism, if this is what you're lofting at them, if this is what you're attacking them with, if this is the crime that you're laying upon them, then their rights go out the window. Then you can do things like an indefinite detention. They don't have to have their day in court until you decide. Now, why would this be important? Why is this a necessity? Why are Democrats proposing a bill to criminalize blocking roads as domestic terrorism? They've thought long and hard of this. It's not like some dumbass just woke up one day, oh, I'm bored. I got to think of, oh, I'm going to make. No, they're very calculating. And it's not the left. It's the right too. It's this system. It's this beast system. And they're the ones concocting this, and they're framing it in a way where, oh, well, I guess we could agree on that, and I don't want that. But we're going to agree. They can't even wait for Trump for this one, right? Because that's his whole purpose, is coming in doing shit like this. Oh, we're going to stop that. Yay, let's do it. This will be bipartisan. Everybody will vote for it. But what are they voting for? Sounds good, right? Oh, yeah, shit. We don't want them doing it. Do you think it's good? Like, no, that's not. They're not stopped. There are already laws in place. Laws didn't help. They're doing it anyway. Changing the name or the categorization, they're still going to do it. What are you granting yourself? And it's always more power. Always. A new bill introduced in the New York State Assembly in response to the uptick in pro-Palestinian protests, which is interesting that the left would come out with this in New York, of all places, would make blocking public roads, bridges, transportation facilities, or tunnels an act of domestic terrorism. Really? Blocking a road? Domestic terrorism? Guys, I told you, you create a domestic terrorism unit, you create domestic terrorists. And they're working on it. They're trying very hard, and they're inching their way in. A little bit of domestic terrorism here, a sprinkle of domestic terrorism there. Before you know it, there's a whole bunch of domestic terrorists running around, and nobody did anything different than they did 15 years before. Nothing has changed but the labeling, but the framing, which is everything in law. And you need to be wondering, asking yourself, why? Embryos are kids, judicial tyranny, and justice in the name of Jesus. I want to bring this up because this is the continuation of the attack on Christianity. Nationalists, right? They're bringing those two. Right, they're going after Christian nationalists now. Like there's some type of terrorist that we need to watch out for. Like the most peaceful people on this planet are all of a sudden like the people that, yeah, of course. It's a topsy-turvy world we're living in. Oh, but I just got a paywall and it won't let me click that little teeny X up there, so I'm not gonna bother. From SciPost. Spirituality, naturalism, alternative health practices serve as gateways to anti-vaccine conspiracy theories, studies suggest. Oh, yeah? Now, guys, I know you know better. And unfortunately, that's really all I ever speak to that doesn't ever really break out of that. But maybe by happenstance, somebody that has never seen any of my videos might stumble across it. But just because a study suggests, right, or papers suggest, or scientists, or like, everything is bullshit at this point. It's all propaganda, basically, right? It's all, you can't trust any of it. The time of, like, you got to be really, really good at discerning and practice it. And, like, don't believe anything. Check it out. Always check it out. Don't just swallow anything now. From anybody. From me, from anybody. You don't. Now is not the time to be trusting. I as much as I can't stand that. Now, guys, I'm going to get wrapping it up here in a minute. Not quite yet, but I want to spend the last few minutes on here with whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. If there's anything, because I only covered a couple of things here, things that I thought, like, I need to kind of stay up on, because it's not going to be long. It won't be long at all. Time is ticking down on a major event. A major event. And life as we know it is going to change. And there's critical mass, right? Critical mass. We have to hit critical mass when this event happens. There has to be enough people awake and aware to the mechanisms that they use, the practices that they always go to further their agenda, to further the narrative, to do everything that they've been doing, but at an exponential rate, on steroids. So it's important to me to at least keep bringing those things up, because I've known, and I know that it's coming. And it's very, very soon, by the way. Some of you started catching on. Guys, when I post images, there's a lot more to the images, right? I don't just put, oh, hey, this is a cool image, let me post it. Symbolism. There, in a lot of videos, live streams, there's a lot of stuff. If you read between the lines, and that's about all I can say, but for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. But I'm not seeing anything from you guys. I appreciate all the support, guys. Hit the thumbs up. If you don't mind, you don't have to, but I do plan on keeping this channel going a little while longer. And because I'm not going to be posting like I normally post, it's going to fall way down, even for you guys, right? Like, I'm already I'm like probably the most shadow banned person on ScrewTube, whatever. But it'll be so you guys can't even find me. So little things like coming back, hitting the comment section, right? Like, the little things, the things that make a channel or break a channel. Those are the things that I need to just exist. Otherwise, you guys will never see any of it. I've already. This has already happened. Earlier on this channel, I got a strike, my second strike in a month, and I was out for 2 weeks, and I made like 4 videos back to back, pretty much. I made like every day, four live streams, and I had like 1 or 2 people in them because nobody got them right, and they were like, "Oh, I missed it." I seen the comments. They're like, "I missed it. I didn't get the note." Yeah, that's how it works. So, not that your thumb up is going to make all of a sudden us break through the shadow banning BS that they have on this channel, but at least you'll be able potentially to see it while I'm still here, because I'm making a lot of moves. I'm trying things out, working with. We'll figure it out. Is it? Can somebody throw something in the chat? I'm sure somebody said something. They probably just shut it off on my end. Yeah, that's what they did. And this is what we're up against, right? And it's no fault of anybody but my own. I am using the enemy's platform, right? People that have silenced brilliant minds during one of the most fundamental times in our lifetimes, during the scamdemic, right? When you would want as many bright minds tackling as many viewpoints as possible, right? That's the whole point of inclusivity in business, they say, is to have all these different outlooks and perspectives. But that's not the case. That wasn't at all what happened, was it? They went and attacked and silenced and eliminated anybody that said anything outside of what it was that they had already planned on. And it's coming again, right? I think I got some shit up on Disease X. Maybe, maybe not. At least I did. Disease X, scientists identify prevention strategy, urge preparedness, right? Because it's coming. We know for a fact it's coming because Bill Gates and his man wife there with her little link in a wad, and we got Tedros up there. The World Health Organization pandemic treaty is coming up. The final vote, and I think it's April, maybe June. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it's around April. And Biden's all for it. He's stated so. And without the type of public outcry that is necessary, there needs to be a tremendous outcry. Like, every person in the United States needs to camp out on the White House lawn and not move until, we get it written that no way in hell are we going to join that pandemic treaty. Because what does it do? At any time whatsoever that the World Health Organization deems that there is a public risk, which doesn't need to be disease related or a virus, pandemic, anything like that. It could be climate change, and it will be climate change if we allow this to happen, which we won't do. There's no way we will, because if that happens, you might as well hang it up. Let me try to turn this chat back on one more time, but yeah, it's not working, guys. I'm sorry that I can't see it. It is what it is. It's the games they play. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm about to shut this live stream off, so come back, leave a comment. I'll get back to you guys. Tell me what it is that you want me to talk about. Let me, what is it that's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Not just information you want to share with me, right? Because I get that. I appreciate you guys' emails. I love them, and it's a treasure trove. What's on your mind? What are you worried about? What are things that you're seeing? Be real. Leave real comments. Come back and talk to me, because I think we need it. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you more than you know. And I hope you realize your value. I hope you realize who you are. I hope you realize the part you have to play in this massive game. God bless you truly. Much love.